Let me make that pussy run. Wet, 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 wet. Where the catty, Let me make that pussy run. Wet, 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 wet. Where the catty Let me make that pussy run. Lick them lips up on that pussy. Kiss up on the navel. Touch up on your legs. In the thigh. Make you real high. Lick some powder off that pussy. Snort some powder off your titties. Playing with your ass cheeks. Damn, you real pretty. You the kind of girl that'll dance for it. Take that money on. You got all your money gone. I'm gonna get you back on. Let me lick up on that pussy, make that pussy wet. Wet, wetty, wet, 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 wet. Let me play with that pussy, put that pussy wet. Wet, 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 wetty, Let me make them titties jump, make them ass clap. Cheeks clapping, 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 clapping. Let me make your toes start to stapping. Let me blow in that asshole and make you do a fish tail. Oh, you from the fish hell. I can smell that pussy, gotta smell well. You taste like strawberry, airy. Let me lick some more on that nibble. Let me lick up on them titty rolls, titty nipples. Blow your hole. Let me make your click, get real hard. Let me make that pussy fart. Let me plant that pussy, make that pussy wet. Where they at? Let me plant that pussy, make that pussy wet. Where they at? Let me plant that pussy, make that pussy wet. Where they at? Where they at? Plant that pussy, cat. You a cat getting on your knees, clapping that ass. I can smell your ass cheeks. You smell like some grapes. Fucking jacuzzi. Put this dick all in your face. Lick it slow, watch the dick grow. Fuck that pussy a little more. Make that pussy wet till it busts. Make you orgasmic till you fucking cuss. Let me make that pussy wet. Where they at? Where they at? Let me make that pussy wet. Where they at? Where they at? Let's just fuck up in the breezeway. You ain't running. Let's just fuck in the car. You freaky honey. Let's just fuck in the elevator while we taking to the top. Running high. Let's just fuck up at your office. Let me fuck you high. Let me fuck you on your table. Let me fuck you, no lie. Let me fuck you while you tell me that you really ride. You really ride. You so high on that liquor. Make that pussy fart just a little more, my nigga. Oh, freaky girl, you just getting it in. I ain't never fucking no girl like you been. Hell, let me touch you, lick you in your ear. You ain't got no fear, you ain't running from the dick. Let me plant that click, let me lick that click. Let me plant that pussy, make it real wet. Let me plant that pussy, make it wet. Where they at? Let me plant that pussy, make it real wet. Where they at? Where they at? Dance, make that motherfucking body get the romance. Your passions got me laughing, I can feel your goodness all over your body. You the greatest. You make me feel like I'm in clouds.